everyone, welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and we're back with another Women of Horror Spotlight. Today I have with us, she's the writer and producer with the Resurrection Film LLC, and they have a new movie that's coming out soon, and it's called Haunted Objects. I have with us Carly Street. Carly, welcome to the Horror Room.
It's great. I'm just blurred into the background.
I know. Coming all the way from the Manchester, UK. All right. So, Carly, tell us a little bit about Haunted Objects. I like that title.
Okay. So it started off as a TV, I should say a web series, really. It started off as a web series in COVID because we had a whole bunch of projects lined up, and like everybody, COVID kind of just stomped on them and shut them down. So we were kind of trying to come up with something that feasibly we could do. Small cast, one location, COVID safe. And we were like, where can we put it? So we came up with Haunted Objects, which is basically exploring haunted objects that are either known or unknown. Kind of investigating the background and then basically putting it to the audience. Do you think this is haunted or not? Here's kind of like the evidence, this way and that way. Leave it to you.
And that's sounds fucking awesome. Now, what are some objects? Give me an object that you explore if it's haunted or not.
Okay, so we kind of go from the obviously known ones, so like James Dean's car, and then we go right through to kind of like the obscure things, which is, I think the most obscure thing that I had to research was a video game that is cursed.
What video game?
I can't remember off the top of my head the video game, but it was like a pinball machine type one that was in an actual, when they used to have video game places where you could go and play video games, like in the arcade.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was this one particular video game that if you got a certain high score on it, kind of meant death. And I think that's the most... And I thought, when I got that as an object, because we kind of got assigned, because there's a couple of us in the group, we kind of got assigned these objects, and I was like, I want to do that. And then when I started researching it, I was like, shit, I don't want to play in an arcade ever again.
Oh.
Kind of gets you like that, like the really popular things that you think of, like the boxes and, like I say, James Dean's car and the Egyptian stuff. You're like, okay, that's cursed. Whatever, a video game isn't cursed. Crap. It gets you a little scared.
Because most people, when you think of like haunted things or paranormal, you think of places, not necessarily objects. But it does make sense. I mean, some objects, have some history behind them. They do have some supernatural spirits, force, whatever behind them.
Yeah.
So what gave your team the idea to let's go ahead and focus on objects instead of places?
Well, to be fair, Jason, who co-owns the company, he does a lot of editing for a series called We Want to Believe, where they basically go and do paranormal investigations on the Joe Blow network. And he'd been trying to come up with ideas for something that was supernatural, because doing the editing, it was I think it was intriguing him more than anything, because he's not exactly a believer. And I think he was just looking for something where he could explore, research, potentially debunk, maybe. And they actually did an episode which was Haunted Objects, and nobody took it seriously. Even they were like, no, this isn't a thing. And at the same time, he'd been thinking in his head that might be an idea to go, because typically everybody does places, like you say.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas people don't tend to think of objects. And he started talking to me about the idea, and I was like, that's my mum and dad's house. Because my mum and dad are such... we can call them hoarders, to be honest. But they collect so much stuff. Honestly, they do. The house, if you walked into the house, it's like a museum. It's like there's platinum discs on the wall. There's like sawn off shotguns. You name it. He bought the other day something off a submarine. And I remember when I was growing up, he would bring certain things into the house, and then me and my mum would be like, this is a bit weird. It's only started happening since you brought this crap in the house. You need to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it piqued my interest because I thought, yeah, I do think energy can kind of hang around, and I don't know, it's an interesting thing to investigate and debunk, I guess.
It is. Now,
so yeah, we just got together and started thinking, well, first things first, have we got enough objects to carry a series or a film or whatever? And there was that much out there, and we were so surprised about how many things hadn't been covered, because you only tend to get the same sort of 10 objects. If you Google sort of like haunted objects, you get the same like 10, and there was so many that were just so obscure, like the video game, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So much like random stuff that's like, surely somebody will find that interesting, other than just us.
See, I would totally find that interesting. By the way, we're not called hoarders; we're called collectors.
That's what my dad says. He's like, I'm collecting it for a later date.
So I'm a collector, but listen, I no longer have the stuff in my house more. I have storage units that I keep the stuff in. But like, you know, I'm a world traveler. I travel all across the world, and I like to bring a little piece of something back from every place I go to, you know, from tempe drums from Uganda to, you know, oil paintings from Japan. So like, I like that kind of stuff, but like, I'm always wondering, like, damn, like, some of the stuff has histories. Where did this stuff come from? What is the history behind it? Who owned it before me? Like, it's always fascinating.
Yeah, and that's the same with Evan, who hosts the show. He's the same. He's travelled everywhere, and he collects different bits from everywhere, and he gets drawn to something, and he's like, I want to know the history behind it. What can you tell me right now? Tell me the energy, basically. And that's why he did it, because it was exactly his cup of tea.
Now, you've been doing this for a minute now. Are you a believer?
Yes, because of all the stuff that my dad brought into the house. Yes.
So what are some things that you've seen with your dad? So some of the stuff that he brought.
So I remember the most vivid memory that I have. He used to work at a secret nuclear bunker, not a functioning one that was becoming a museum, and he was building a replica Shackleton plane for it. And because of how my dad is in the situation that was going on, they would go, oh, we're not using this in the museum. Would you like to use it? Would you like to take it? So, of course, my dad brought anything home. He would have, like, shells, trench art. He brought home once a German flag. Mm-hmm. It was one of the flags that was part of the German uniform.
Ooh.
Oh, my God, the house went mad. The house went mad for days. And I was getting up for school, and my dad used to work late. And I remember having a conversation with somebody through the door. So it's like a bungalow, so it's just one level. So effectively, my mum and dad's bedroom was behind where I was. So I was having a conversation through the wall. Then my dad walked through the door. The front door. I was like, who the hell have I been talking to for half an hour?
Holy shit.
He even went in the room. And the way that my dad used to sleep, because he's very tall. He's a very tall man. So his feet would stick out the end. Mm-hmm. And the duvet would kind of just cover the edges of his ankles. I went in the room and there was somebody in the bed.
See, you know, from anybody who watches my channel, I've worked in cemeteries and funeral homes my whole entire life, right? So I've definitely seen my share of shit. And like, it has made me a believer. Like, I definitely believe in paranormal and spirits and all that good stuff. At the same time, I don't fuck with that stuff. I try not to. You know, in the past, I would be like, oh, well, let me go into this haunted place. I don't fuck with haunted things because I feel like it can attach itself to you. Is that something that you worry about when you're dealing with these haunted objects?
It is a little bit, if I'm honest. It really is. Because we have certain things in our house. We have some trench art that actually came from my grandfather. And I'm always very careful with it because I did put it in a certain place which wasn't on show when I was doing sort of like a cleaning marathon. And I just kind of slung it to one side. And none of us felt happy in the house, shall we say, until I relocated it somewhere on show. So now it kind of stays where it is. And then once a year, we always have some activity, and we're quite happy with that. We just leave it be. But when I was doing some research for this, and I was actually writing, it's a painting, and I can't remember the painting off the top of my head. But there's a section. We do it in sections of 3s. So if it's dolls, it's 3 different stories. If it's cars, it's 3 different stories. And this was paintings, and it was 3 different stories. And I've been absolutely fine with the first one, which was very known and very out there. Absolutely fine with the second one. The third one, I was writing it, and I had to message Jason saying, I'm really sorry, but whatever I've got, you're going to have to rewrite because I can't write it anymore. I feel like there's somebody stood behind me. But I don't know if I got that in my head and then couldn't get it out. But I felt awful. Really did. And I thought, maybe this can just be the end of this for now, and then we'll come back to it in a couple of months. Kind of what energized myself out of the way.
Because anybody who's never been to England before, right? England it's a beautiful place, but it's dreary, it's dark, and it's definitely, it gives you the creeps, especially at night. Like it's just and it's such a, you do the histories, you take some haunted tours, when it's such a haunted country. It has, a lot of supernatural history behind it.
A lot of negative history as well with certain things.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's the same thing in the States. I mean, the States definitely have a lot of haunted places, but we went through a lot of shit between the Civil War and slavery and God knows what else. There's a lot of places in the States that there are some spirits that are, unrested, I should say.
Yeah.
All right. So what got you, Carly, into the paranormal investigation world?
I always had a personal fascination with things like that because my mum, to this day, claims that she is psychic. And to be fair, over the past few years, as I've got older, I thought, okay, I can't really argue with that. Like, she has a few different things that come up. So it's always been something that's interested me. But to be honest, I've never really been able to marry that with anything creatively that I'm doing until now, because it's quite hard unless you're making a paranormal ghost horror film.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite tricky to I'd say maybe explore things that you're interested in as opposed to what you think an audience might be interested in, which ends up being one of 50 things of the same topic, which is I've always tried to shy away from because I think it's been done 49 times before me, probably a hell of a lot better. And that's why I kind of like doing this, because at least it's something a bit fresh when we get to dive into things that aren't as mainstream. And yeah, people may not be as receptive to it, there might not be as big an audience, but at least it's going to be interesting and slightly different.
I agree. I mean, that's, when I started my YouTube channel, I tell people all the time, I did not know what the fuck I was going to do. I knew it was going to be horror related, but I did not know where, and then just over time it became, I'm going to interview horror creators. And that's something that no one else was doing on YouTube. I mean, now listen, now there's some copycats after me, but listen, I take that as a badge of honor that I started something that motivated other people to do the same thing. But yes, it's kind of hard, especially in the horror paranormal world, to find something creative and new you gotta find your little niche, and like I said, when you talk about horror, I mean haunted objects, I'm like, that's something I've never seen before. I mean, I've seen it in movies like The Conjuring and stuff. I mean, I don't know if that's real or not, but it's based on a true story. But like that grasped my attention easily because it's something I've never seen before.
Hmm.
So, all right. So, when it comes to now, I'm curious once again about this arcade game because I'm a huge arcade and a video game nerd. Outside of so, when you touch this pinball machine, did you feel anything? Did you sense anything?
No, I'll be honest with you. I don't get. So this is where I kind of step back. How we were talking before about worrying about attachments and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
The other guys would laugh at me. They all laugh at me all the time. I'm very much like, no, I'm not tempting fate. I'm not getting involved with that. No, keep it at a distance. I already have enough bad luck. I don't want to get any more. Like, let's get rid of the bad luck that I have, and then maybe we'll see. But I don't. I can't. My mum told me a story about a Ouija board when I was like 10 to stop me doing Ouija boards, and I'm like, I can't. That's just all that's in my head all the time. It lives there rent free. I can't.
Yeah, I just don't fuck with that shit. I mean, I really don't. Like, I've never played with a Ouija board in my life. I'm never been interested in doing a seance or anything like that. And you know, I should say I follow circles that do, because it's like the rave right now in the United States who do paranormal investigations. Like, you can go with the paranormal professionals and do. That's something that I've never ever been interested in doing. I might do it soon. I mean, I think it'd be a good video for my channel.
Yeah.
But part of me also wonders, almost like what you're saying, what is true and what's not true? Because, you know, there's a lot of legends out there that this and that, but like, what is being put in front of us as an audience that is staged and what's not?
Yeah.
And like, I think, you know, about what you're doing is, you know, you're leaving to the audience to decide on their own, is this real or not? I feel like that's a fascinating idea, because you're not 1% saying, hey, this is fucking, you know, haunted and, you know, there's a fucking ghost coming out of the back of the arcade game.
It's like we have one episode about the ferry bridge in the Isle of Man. And that actually has my mum on it as a voiceover.
Oh.
And that's where that episode come from. Because obviously we were brainstorming ideas, and I was like, we have to do this, because this is another one of my mum's stories. Fucking hell, they could do a podcast themselves with all their bloody history, but this is one particular thing that happened to her that I thought, I've got to put out there. And people might think it's absolute nonsense, and that's absolutely fine. Like, judge it as you will. Do you think there's any credence to it or not? Because at the end of the day, it's just my mum's story. But then that's how quite a lot of myths and legends and things like that start. It's just one person's story, and then another person goes, hey, that happened to me, or something similar, or...
Now, do you believe in Bigfoot and aliens and all that stuff too?
Well, I'm a big X-Files fan, so I kind of really want the aliens to come down, just so that Mulder was right. Yes. And then I can show them my tattoo when they arrive and be like, hey guys!
Hey, I'm one of you, yes.
I'm one of you! I knew you were coming! I don't know, I think I'm more convinced with ghosts and paranormal and energies from personal experience.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm more interested in the other stuff. I'm more sort of still investigating and trying to sift through what I think is right and wrong in my head, if that makes sense.
100%. Because so if you made a list of the top three, which is aliens, paranormal stuff, and Bigfoot, right? I don't believe in Bigfoot. I respect people who do believe in Bigfoot, but I felt like I felt like masses of people would have seen Bigfoot by now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Somebody, you would have found a dead Bigfoot or something. Like at some point, a Bigfoot would have died, and you would have seen a Bigfoot corpse or something. But like, so I feel like Bigfoot. Nah, I don't feel like I believe that. Now, aliens, I do believe in them. Listen, I don't believe in it to the point where I've seen aliens or I think that they're going to come and take us over. The only reason I believe in aliens is because I've been around pretty intelligent people in my life, right? And I've never met anybody who is intelligent enough to create the internet, fucking smart cars, smartphones. Like, I've never ever I've never met anybody who is that intelligent, right? At all. And I feel like the average human being it's like a couple steps from being a caveman or a cave woman. I don't feel like we're that highly intelligent at all. I really don't.
No.
So
especially when you see society now.
Yes, I feel like, and even the average. I'm a college educated person, but the average college educated person that I've met is a big dummy. And they're not as intelligent as somebody who doesn't have a college education, I should say. So I'm like, this technology came from somewhere and it didn't come from a human being. So that's the only reason why I believe in aliens. And it's because of the technology. And I do believe that Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk and people like that are aliens. So, because I've never came close to meeting anyone with intelligent on that level that it can come up with fucking Facebook or the internet or any of this. But the paranormal stuff, I've seen stuff with my own eyes. Listen, I worked with a dead person for 1 whole year. I worked with a spirit for 1 whole year, and
really
100%. And once I realized that person was dead or a spirit, I never saw them again. And when it comes to that story, it's not just me telling the story. I have several other people who can attest to this fucking story. And this was a person, and the scarier part about it was this was a person who worked at this particular cemetery that I worked at, and they came to work every single fucking day. And even though they were dead, their spirits still came to work every single day. And I'm like, to me, that would be absolute hell. To live the rest of my life coming to working every single day.
You're the best employee and you're dead.
I know, but is that the best part? Listen, one of the best part of dying, I guess, is not to have to work.
Yeah, but then it makes you wonder. It plays into the idea of when I was doing my job in COVID, I used to sit outside with other people that I worked with, and I'd be like, guys, I think we're dead. This is not hell, but it's not heaven. They're basically trying to figure out if we're allowed in one or the other. And after about 3 weeks, every other single person, we were converted people that were queuing to get in the shop. They were like, yeah, this is purgatory. I don't even know.
Because every human being's goal is to get to retirement where they don't have to work, right? That's your goal, is to get to that point where you don't have to work anymore, right?
You don't have to work, but you have to get up because you can't sleep, and you just want to moan about it because you're retired.
But I wouldn't want a shitty job working as a grave digger, in a cemetery for all eternity. That cannot be I can understand if it's a job that's fun. You know what I mean? I'm trying to think.
Job's fun.
Like an entertainment job, I guess, or as a professional athlete or something. I don't know, or a musician or something. I feel like, if you're an artist and you create paintings or something, I feel like those are fun jobs, right? This is a fun job. To me, this is fun, right? So, but at the same time, I wouldn't want to live the rest of eternity interviewing horror creators. Probably not. At some point, I would want to call this quits.
Yeah. Do you know what? That's funny though, because when after I had my daughter, everybody still to this day thinks, whatever, you had some drugs. Well, they didn't give me any drugs because they didn't believe I was in labour. So I know that I didn't have any drugs. I remember I was left on my own and she was screaming her head off. I could not do anything, to the point where she was disturbing everybody and there was absolutely nothing I could do. And I just remember this woman that came over to me and she pulled the curtain back and she went, she needs to be with you. She needs to lie with you. And at the time, you weren't allowed to have the newborn babies on the bed with you in case you were tired. You rolled over and you crushed them. Mm-hmm. So you were not allowed at all. And she went, I need to tuck her in the bed with you. And I said, in my little delirious state after giving birth, like, oh, you can't do that. And she went, no, that's the only way she's going to settle. And I remember she put her next to me. She pulled the blanket over and she did this weird, like, army kind of fold. It was that tight, so she couldn't have fell off the bed. She kind of wrapped me in it so I couldn't move. I did this weird thing, and as soon as she did it, she fell asleep. And she looked at me and went, there you go, that's all she wanted. And she gave me this really, really sweet smile and went. And the next day, I kept saying to people, who was that nurse that helped me with Lily? Because I got woke up. And they said, she shouldn't be in your bed. How have you done this? I was like, where's that really nice nurse that helped me? She was the only one that helped me. She wasn't there. But then the more that when I got home and I was telling people, I was like, no, Mum, I need to write a card or something to that lovely nurse because they were all horrible. And the only one that helped me with this was this one woman. And she said, right, we'll describe her and we'll try and phone up and see if we can figure out who it is. And I was describing her to her, and my mum was going, they don't wear hats like that anymore. It's like, oh, she had like this little, with like a cross, and like you have to look at the cross. And she was like, no, they don't wear that anymore, Carly.
Wow.
Yeah. To this day, like, I even say to my daughter, I was like, somebody was looking after you that night, 100%.
Yes. And listen, I respect spirits who are great at their jobs. Now, but imagine if you would got a spirit that was shitty at their job. Because listen, every job got bad employees and horrible. I mean, wouldn't it suck though? I mean, like, to be like, if there was a whole fucking hospital filled with bad nurses and, you know, that fucking died and came back and they're still working.
Yeah. And then they were like, don't worry about it, we'll just tuck them in.
Yeah.
Never mind, move on to the next one.
Yes. Let's hope that those nurses are in hell. So,
yeah. Get them, Lucifer, get them. We already have enough bad ones, don't have them.
I know. All right, Carly. So I'm gonna ask you 3 random horror questions. Okay, this is just opinion. This is off the wall, crazy shit. Okay.
Okay.
All right. If you died today or tomorrow, Carly, and you come back and now you're a spirit, are you going to be one of those asshole spirits that's going to be knocking people's shit over and haunting them, or are you going to be like this nurse and be a helpful, kind spirit?
So, I would love to say that I would be the second. But I think, to be honest, I'd get distracted far too easily. And as soon as I was a spirit and realised, poof, I can disappear, or poof, I can knock this over, I think I'm going to go and help that woman over there in a minute, but on my way to going and helping her, I'm going to knock this fucker over. And yeah, that's a horrible vase. Fuck off. You, I remember you from school. Up yours. So I feel like I would do too much of that by the time I got to the woman I was trying to help, like, she'd have gone home. She'd have sorted herself out, and I'd have been like, oh, okay, never mind. I'll go find somebody else. Oh, there's that horrible vase again. I think it would be my own cycle of hell.
See, I would be the asshole fucking spirit because I like to prank people. I like to scare people. I like to. I'm not saying I'm going in full on haunting mode, but I would be the person that hides your fucking keys or like, um, maybe if a husband's cheating on his wife or something, I might put the phone unlocked, with the text message right up near the wife or something.
Or accidentally spill the kettle of hot water on his balls. I mean,
yes, that would be me. And yes, I mean, yes, and anybody who has fucked me over in life, if they're still alive, I'm probably going to do some nasty shit to them.
Yeah.
Probably. But then I'll probably be in hell. I mean, I don't know.
Then it would kind of be your job if you were in hell.
Yeah, that would be my job.
Technically, you'd be the best employee going.
That's a fun fucking job. All right, second question. If one of your personal possessions, you pass away and one of your personal possessions was to be haunted, what possession would you feel like would have the most energy of you that would definitely be the haunted object?
Ooh. So if I died when I'd managed to amass a fortune, then it would be something like a custom-made axe or something that that I can swing around at parties when I've had a drink, like woo. But assuming that I die having not amassed a fortune, it's one of two things. It would either be my Frank Sinatra plate that plays Frank Sinatra when you press a button at the back that drives everybody insane.
Love it.
Or my Formula 1 Mark Webber piece of car.
Ooh.
Because either way, while I'm living, I still drive people insane whenever they go near them two items. And I make noises. I make Formula 1 car noises. And I fake sing Frank Sinatra. So I feel like if I was dead, I could put all my energy into those. And it'd be like... I could genuinely put some people in an asylum.
Love it. I love that idea.
Especially can you imagine that?
You just had that thing playing just randomly. No one never pushed the damn button. Oh my goodness. In the middle of the night, people are sleeping and it just starts playing.
Can you imagine if you were like checking into asylum, what happened? The plate's haunted me. It just keeps playing my way. Yeah, exactly.
Right. I took the battery out. It's still playing. Yes.
Still going.
Nut house. That's where I'll be.
Yeah.
Final question. Okay. Who is one person that you would love? You pass away. You're a spirit. Is there one individual you can think of top of your head? You don't have to say the person's name that you would love to haunt the fuck out of.
I thought you were going to go with meat because I was ready to like. Ooh, haunt. Ooh. Do you know, I know exactly who I'd haunt till the end of time. I can't say the person's name because they might sue me. Yeah, I just think, do you know what? You've got me thinking. Yeah, I know who I would haunt. I don't know how to explain it to you who I would haunt because it's kind of like in a filmmaking situation as well. So I kind of want to explain it, but.
Is it a famous person or is it someone who is close to you?
It was someone who pertains to be close to me. Until the jig was up.
So you will haunt the hell out of that motherfucker.
Fucking will. Yes. My Frank Sinatra plate will come with me. I'm not living. Oh, no, wait, they might like that. I'm not going to play them nice stuff.
No, you got to be knocking shit over, busting out windows, and...
I need to start a GoFundMe to get an axe so I can take that with me to the afterlife. And then just fucking smash it.
I'm trying to think. All right, I just asked you that question as thoughts on my head. Who the fuck would I haunt? All right, I'm going to take famous people out of the equation. All right, because I don't know famous people. All right, yes, I know exactly who I'm going to haunt, but I can't say on camera.
Yeah. Oh, We should so have a
Uh,
conversation about this afterwards.
yes, I'm gonna tell you exactly afterwards who it will be. Yes, I know who.
Yeah.
Yes, it'll be good. And the crazy part about it is that individual definitely thinks that we're still friendly or cool and so forth. And like, I hate people like that. Like, wait a minute, you fucked me over. Why the hell would you think we're still cool?
Yeah, yeah. So I have a similar thing. Hey, why are you not supporting me? I thought we were cool. I mean, how can you not understand that we're not after what's gone on? But okay. Is that just
Yeah,
because you still want my loose connections to something? Okay.
it's weird.
It's
All
not
right.
even in Hollywood. I dread to think what people are like that actually have real connections.
Yes. Now, okay, my famous person. Okay, I'm gonna tell you my famous person because I can't get fucking. Listen, I'm pretty sure they don't even watch my fucking show. But my famous person, that's still alive. Mine would be a famous person. I would hunt the shit out of R. Kelly. I don't know. I don't know if you know who R. Kelly is in the
Yeah,
UK. Okay, I would
yeah.
hunt, and I know he's in prison and everything, but I would hunt the shit out of his fucking prison. So
You can borrow my axe.
yes, and I'll swing that motherfucker around because I mean, just a disgusting human being, and like the fact that he was doing it for decades. I remember seeing the first video when I was in junior high, and people in the states laughed at it. They laughed at him urinating on a little girl. They thought it was funny. Like Dave Chappelle made it this. It was a humorous thing, and I thought that I remember even back then I thought that was so weird. And then like it just kept on happening, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, now he's a disgusting human being. Like, no, he's
Yeah,
been a disgusting human being since the '90s, but we
yeah.
for some reason thought it was funny.
He's always been disgusting. It's just you thought it was okay for a little while.
And that's very fucking weird. But that also proves that as society, famous people get a we judge famous people completely differently than we
Yeah,
do a normal person. If that was a normal man, he would have been ostracized, probably lost his fucking job, been in jail,
yeah,
but famous people, men and women, get judged completely differently.
yeah, yeah.
So
Oh, see, my famous person's dead, so does that count?
who's it?
Errol
Adolf
Flynn.
Hitler? Oh, who?
No, Errol Flynn.
Oh, that's a good one.
He's awful. We do another series called Haunted Hollywood.
Hmm.
God, that man was awful.
Yeah,
The whole pervy house, it's basically like the
yeah,
P. Diddy blueprint house,
yeah,
was allowed to get away with it. And everybody goes, if you say to somebody that, I mean, it might be different in the UK than it is in America, but if you walk into a pub and go, oh, Errol Flynn, they'll go, Robin Hood, what a legend. Really? Really?
See, but I think
Did you not see his torture house?
I think in the U.S. I think the reason why the rest of the world hates us is because we think perverts and weirdos are fucking cool. Like, what I mean? We polarize bad people. Like, the fact that we polarize serial killers in this country and other countries don't do that. You're like, I
I
don't know.
think
I mean, it's
the UK does that as well, to be fair. The UK sort of revels in the fact that we have like Harold Shipman or, fair enough, Jack the Ripper is slightly different because I guess that much time's passed, you can't say it's relevant, but Harold Shipman, there are still families from him that are still relevant, that are still living now. It's kind of the gloss, isn't it, I think, of the serial killer true crime, I don't know, movement? Is that the right thing to say?
Yeah, that's what it is. I remember like just a year or two ago, people were dressed up like Jeffrey Dahmer in this country for Halloween because and I just thought that was so fucking weird. Like, I mean, but yeah, I mean, we just you talk about P Diddy. There's a lot of people who there's a lot of people in this country who love P Diddy still. Like, and you saw the video of him beating the shit out of a woman. Like, and there's a lot of people in this country who, listen, I can go on and on about American famous people who are big pieces of shit, but as us as Americans, we pick and choose who we ostracize and
who you don't,
and who we don't. Like, the fact that we pick
I don't
and choose.
think that's I don't think that's an American problem, to be honest. I think that's a society-wide problem because it happens an awful lot here as well.
Yeah, we pick and choose which pedophiles we decide to call pedophiles, and we pick and choose which women beaters we decide to call women beaters. So I mean,
who you're happy to have on Spotify and who you're not.
Exactly. Because I mean, the fact that Chris Brown still has a career is crazy. I mean, but like in this country, women spend $1,000 to go meet him. I mean, a guy who is a known woman beater, like not just one time, multiple women. Like, it blows my fucking mind.
Because I think with the serial killer thing as well, it's mainly, I don't want to say it's mainly women, but a lot of it, people will say, oh, it's men. No, it's not. No. It's the women as well that are completely okay with this kind of, let's write to people on death row. I'm okay with it and I'm a woman. Okay, well, that's fine. You do that, Barbara, but people aren't. And wow, it's just, that's why I try and stay away from that kind of thing if I can, because it's like, I've not got the time, ego, or patience to fight Karens on Facebook.
Yeah, we pick and choose. I mean, you talk about women, like women will say, oh my goodness, that guy is a murderer. He's a piece of shit. But I will date and have a child with a drug dealer.
Yeah. Or they'll go, oh my God, he's such a bastard. But doesn't he look dreamy?
Yes, 100%.
Like his Facebook page. Okay.
All right, Carly, where can everyone find you?
YouTube is the main one right now. Haunted Objects, we've got some of the individual episodes on there, so that'd be a cool one. Okay. YouTube at Resurrection Films LLC. We are on Instagram, but we're not very good at that because I'm in charge of it.
Oh,
same thing.
You got to get better at it. Listen, I'm new to Instagram as well, and Instagram definitely. I have to get on Twitter too. Everybody keeps telling me that Twitter is X is like the way now. Like everybody apparently is.
So I love X. So the thing is, you have to. So we managed to raise $15,000 through crowdfunding for 2 different projects on X, Twitter, whatever. And it's such a fun community. However, there is a very, very dark side. And if you find the dark side, you will never get out. So it is fun. It is really fun. And you can meet some amazing people and you can have such fun. But if you find bad people, it kind of just gets like a black hole.
What's the dark side? Like, what, you talking about, like porn or something?
No, it's like, oh my God, it's like armchair conspiracy, like people that have crawled out just to yell at you.
Oh, wow.
I gave a compliment to somebody. We did an interview for we do a podcast, and we did an interview with an actor over here who's quite well known, and we gave him a compliment, and like 20 people came out to yell at us because the compliment wasn't phrased right. It's like, that's just how I talk. I'm sorry that I'm shit. I can't. Should I have a warning label? I don't know.
I'm cutting back from like Facebook. Facebook is shit now. It's so fucking shit. Like I get flagged for stupid shit. I can every time you make a post, like I posted something and said I use the word white, and for some reason, and like you can't use the word white on fucking Facebook. Yes, but I wonder why people were using YT. I had no idea what that fucking meant. But yes, you can't use the word white anymore on Facebook because you have to use YT, because if you say something about white, they assume that you're saying something bad about white people or something. I'm like, what? Huh?
I'm describing the color white. So weird. It doesn't make sense. It's like you can't post a link because then it thinks it's spam.
It's spam or it's promoting. So
it's like, and then you can't use certain words. You have to use abbreviations. and it looks like my daughter's trying to text me. I don't know what she's saying to me. She texts me all the time. I'm like, oh, fucking, what the hell is this? It looks like something off Star Trek.
Yes. Facebook
And that's
is done.
not what Facebook looks like. My daughter's phone.
Facebook is done. I love Facebook for a long time. It took me a while to transition over to Instagram, but like I feel like Instagram, and I hear X is like the new way to go especially if you're a creator and you're promoting your stuff.
Yeah, it is quite good. I think there's a very, very big community of people that once you put the work in to find them, it's very rewarding. It's just sometimes you have to kind of weather the storm and think, oh, I'm not going to bite to that. Just carry on. If you can just do that, then you'll love it.
Awesome. Wow. Well, listen, everybody. The Hard Room is going to be on X soon, so I'll be posting the link for that and shit. All right, listen, Carly. Listen, everybody. Listen, get over to her YouTube channel, which the link is down in the description, and go ahead and like, subscribe, share, watch, do all that good stuff.
Please do.
Yes, and also follow Resurrection Films on social media. Carly, this has been fun. I do not want to get on your bad side if you decide to become a spirit.
Thank you.
Okay?
Do you remember when you said you were looking for a title? And I went,
Yes.
Weird British woman chats. Nonsense. Do you see
I
why?
like this title. No, I like this title. That I did. You're not weird. You're fun. This was a fun interview. I will love to have you on. And like I said, in January, I will be at I forgot the name of the damn festival. I'll be on a film festival and I'm gonna be at some film festival in Manchester, England. Not Manchester. What the fuck am I talking about? Essex.
Thanks.
Yeah, Essex. So,
it's not Romford, is it? The Romford Film Festival. That's near Essex.
it's called Land of Sea or something. I think I told you what it was beforehand. It's called something. It's
I feel like
something
that's dead
on the
familiar.
sea. It's something on the sea. Film Festival, Horror on the Sea, or something like that. Film on the Sea.
There's no sea near Essex, love, so
What was that?
there's no sea near Essex.
Which is weird, isn't it?
It's a bit of a lake.
But I hear that there's a lot of other things in Essex.
Yeah, I know.
I'm curious about.
It's going to let you figure that out for yourself.
All right, well, everyone, thank you for coming to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and that's Carly Street. We'll see you next time. Take care.